The Arch-Fey Warlock, the whimsical warrior, the beguiling blaster, the guy who is now indebted to the Pixie Mafia. The Fey Warlock is a person who made a pact with an Arch-Fey, which is some great being either deep within the Enchanted Woods, at the bottom of the Lake of Legends, or in Albuquerque. The Fey Warlock in 5.5 D&D is actually pretty fun. It's a very clear improvement from the 5.0 counterpart, whose abilities range from pretty cool but I wish I had more uses, super cool, too bad you're not getting charmed a lot. You are a 14th level ability that is basically a 4th level spell, but worse. So yeah. 5.0 Fey Warlock was kinda bad, but the 5.5 Fey Warlock? It's pretty cool. You know that one guy who gets really into smoking the devil's lettuce and makes that his whole personality? The new Fey Warlock did that, except with Misty Steps, but like wasn't annoying about it at all. And I know, we're all kinda sick of subclasses that can teleport, I agree. When Wizards of the Coast can't think of a unique feature, their go-to move is to add teleporting or to change the damage types to like 5 different types, to the point where damage types don't even matter. So why do I like the 5.5 Fey Warlock? Because those other subclasses are kinda just a loose collection of ideas that don't really commit to teleporting. But Fey Warlock? They are committed to teleporting hard. They put a ring on Misty Step's finger and that marriage is rock solid. And while I do have some buffs I want to give to this subclass later on in the video, the problems I have with this subclass are minor, because I think this subclass is worth your time. Fey Warlock is wicked cool. Mostly. You did something good for once, Watsy. Way to go. I still hate you though. Unrelated, look at this cool picture of Jack Sparrow. So what's the Fey Warlock's deal? They are all about Misty Stepping. At level 3, they get Steps of the Fey, which lets you cast Misty Step for free a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier per a long rest. Pretty cool, but this ain't any ordinary Misty Step. No. When the Fey Warlock casts Misty Step, they can throw some funk onto that step. Like Refreshing Steps gives you or a friend 1d10 temp HP. Taunting Step is exactly what it sounds like. You hurl insults at the enemies right in front of you, make them big mad, teleport away, and now enemies have disadvantage to attack any creature that isn't you, which is perfect. You can call that decrepit boomer a wretched leather-faced uggo to give him disadvantage, then move so far away from him that he won't be able to reach you or just has a harder time hitting your friends, or he has to use some weaker ranged option if he even has one at all. Making a guy so angry that he can only focus on you is some Bugs Bunny kind of stuff, and I am 100% here for it. Also, I'm just saying, Bugs Bunny is one of the best modern representations of Fey we have. That's not even a joke, I'm being 100% serious. I know traditional Fey are an assortment of tons of creatures from various European folklore, so what defines a Fey is as vast as Queen Titania's kingdom, but in terms of modern Fey, Bugs Bunny has all of the necessary qualities in spades. He has some kind of unseen mystical power, he's nature themed, he enjoys scheming. His hobbies include dressing up as a hot lady to make idiot men fall in love with him. It's all there. Baba Yaga wishes she had the power level of this rodent. Now, while all of this Fey stuff is very cute, that's not the real reason why many are interested in Warlock, right? When I think Warlock, I think practitioner of the dark arts who uses their own blood to curse people and summon demons. And if that idea scratches an itch for you, you should check out Last Ark Tactics Analog. Last Ark is a TTRPG inspired by JRPGs like Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics. This is a game that encourages so much build variety, with classes and advanced classes that all have unique skill trees. Personally, I'm a fan of the Warlock. They sacrifice their own blood to empower their dark magic and wicked minions. Are you worried you'll run out of blood? Don't worry, the Warlock can suck health and magic from their enemies. So as long as you give your enemies the bad suck, you can bleed all day long. Now that's what I call dark arts. Dab me up, Arctis, the primal of winter and death. The best part is the game has been playtested for like 8 years at this point. The game is finished. They are just asking for money to print the thing. Anyone who backs the game gets a PDF of the core rulebook the moment the campaign launches. Also, this project is AI free, let's go. The art just nails the vibes. I mean, look at this king crab and look at his cute little crab knights. It's great. So check out Last Ark Tactics Analog on GameFound today. Thank you to Last Ark Tactics Analog for sponsoring this video. And the shenanigans don't stop there. At level 6, you get Misty Escape. It lets you cast Misty Step as a reaction after taking damage. So after you get smacked, you can just nope out of that situation. Also, your Steps of the Fey feature gets even more options. Like Disappearing Step allows you to turn invisible until the start of your next turn. So if you get surrounded by an entire retirement's home worth of psychopaths, after you take that first hit, you can promptly get the fuck out of there and stay the fuck out of there until it's your turn. Or maybe you want to boom the boomers. Well, with Dreadful Step, you can choose to explode at the beginning or end of your teleport and have these geezers make a wisdom save or take 2d10 psychic damage. The text of this ability doesn't make it clear how you deal deals psychic damage, and I'm not sure how it works either, so here are some cool pictures of Bugs Bunny I found. And if you are worried you will run out of Misty Steps, remember, you can still cast Misty Step with your spell slots. You are a Warlock. You get spell slots back on a short rest. Plus, you have ways to get back your spell slots in between your power naps. What's cool about this subclass is you can build it in a bunch of different ways. Want to play an Eldritch Blaster who scurries away from danger? That works. Want to play a charming debuffer who sits in the back casting Fairy Fire on your enemies? You can do that. Personally, I'm a fan of the melee build, Blink Blade, Nightcrawler type playstyle. Run up, whack a guy, teleport away, go invisible. It's beautiful. With the 5.5 rules, when you take Pact of the Blade, you can use your Charisma for attack and damage rolls, and you can be proficient with one weapon of your choice. Personally, I'm a fan of the Pike, because the goal of this subclass is to keep a healthy distance between you and the enemy. The Pike has enough reach for you to lethally practice social distancing. Also, I gotta imagine the Pikes D&D characters use are smaller than most, because imagine walking and fighting in the narrow hallways of a dungeon with this. Well, thank goodness Warlocks can resummon their weapon, because if not, they would have to do a 3-point turn to attack someone behind them if they were indoors. And what's cool is you don't have to be only a melee build, or a debuff build, or a blaster build. You can mix and match those options to be a hodgepodge of whatever you want. If you are thinking of making a Fey Warlock, there are a lot of good races/species to pick from, but there is only one option that is truly perfect. Now, there are some okay ones for you to choose from. Turtle is good for more AC if enemies do catch up to you. Bugbear is great for melee builds that want to poke from far away. Wood Elf and Satyr are great if you want more speed to scamper away while also having Fey theming. Those are good, but for me, it's not even a question of what the best option is. It's the Eladrin from Monsters of the Multiverse. It's like the most Fey player race there is. It's got teleporting, elf ears, resistance to being charmed, crazy bipolar mood swings. It's perfect. Fairy wishes it could be this cool. I would make fun of you more, Fairy, but your name makes that a little problematic to do. Not only does the Eladrin have big Fey energy, it also has teleports. Taking Eladrin doubles how many times a day you can teleport. And these Eladrin teleports also come with special effects depending on which season of Eladrin you are that day. I'm a fan of the winter form. Before you teleport, you can make people frightened of you, so this average Bostonian can't even approach you if they fail their save. And yeah, the book says the winter Eladrin have to be all depressed and emo, but I get around that by ignoring what the book says. I don't want to play some sad sack chump, dude. Miss me with that. Same to these guys. Shadir Kai are just elves who need Xanax. Wait, is it Shadir Kai or Shadar Kai? Whatever, the pasty emo elves, those are the ones I'm talking about. If you are afraid your Fey Warlock will run out of teleports, this is the race for you. You can also play a Cloud Goliath if your DM doesn't allow stuff from before 5.5. Level 10 gives us Beguiling Defense, and we're gonna skip Beguiling Defense because I want to stay positive. For now, at least. I'll talk about it in about a minute. So on to level 14 we go! At this level, we get Bewitching Magic. If you cast an illusion or enchantment spell using your action and a spell slot, you can also cast Misty Step as part of the same action. More Misty Steps, baby, get your steps in! There are a lot of good Warlock spells that can trigger this ability. Hold Monster for when you want to lock down an enemy, great if you are a melee Warlock that is thirsty for some crits. Synaptic Static is great, it's basically a psychic fireball that debuffs people. It also uses the very rare intelligence saving throw. Fear is a classic, just scare people and force them to run away. That'll keep you a healthy distance away from senile Sammy over here. Greater invisibility, you can't go wrong with that. And now all of those spells got a fat teleport stacked on top of them. It's awesome. So now that I've said a bunch of nice things about this subclass, let's talk about what's wrong with it. My problems with it are minor, very minor. More gripes than problems, I suppose, but they are still gripes I and others feel. The first gripe I have is with the level 10 ability, Beguiling Defense. It makes you immune to charm, which is great, but my gripe is with the second part of this ability, which lets you use a reaction to take half damage from an attack and send the damage you took back at the attacker. That is a fantastic ability for any other character. On this character, it's kinda unnecessary. This subclass already has Disappearing Step. That lets you use a reaction when you take damage to teleport away and become invisible. And unless your attacker has like 30 feet of blind sight, they won't be able to hit you again, at least not without great difficulty. This ability comes at level 10 and is activated when you get hit by an attack. By this level, creatures will have multi-attack. They are going to be swinging at least twice a round. So what would you rather do? Take half damage and hurt your attacker, then take even more sick tentacles to the groin, or take full damage and not risk finding out how many attacks he and his friends might have. Personally, I'd rather only get hit by one attack rather than 9. Redcaps can swing 3 times, and there are 3 of them. You do not want to find out why their hats are red. It's not because they're Red Sox fans. And this whole scenario I made is the unlikely one, because if you're playing this subclass well, you will not be close to this Silver Fox and his Tungsten Crocs. This subclass is meant to be far away from danger, so why do they have an ability that would be really good on a tank? Can you imagine Beguiling Defense on like a fighter or a barbarian or a monk? That would go so hard.
Smoke is sexy stuff!
But nah, give it to the caster. They are starving. Instead, marshals get bangers like Battlemaster, but worse, and a subclass that I'm 90% certain was made with AI. Look, Beguiling Defense is rad. It's a great tool to have when you want to be more conservative with your Misty Steps, but the problem is either A, you won't be near enemies often enough to make this worth it, or B, this subclass has better options to avoid taking damage. So, let's give Beguiling Defense a buff. It's a Bone Wizard video, dude. What'd you expect? This is how I get my fix. This is a minor tweak, but it will go a long way. We'll buff it so you can use your Beguiling Defense not only on yourself, but also on any friend that you can see. That's it. That's all I think it needed to be good. Cause think about it, you're gonna be teleporting around and getting far away from the enemy to flip them the bird. You're not the one most likely to be in danger, your teammates are, so why not use your magic to defend them? This small change will let you use your ability a lot more and promote more team play, which you know I'm all about. Plus, punishing those who harm your friends is an extremely Fey thing to do. Did a hunter shoot your favorite deer? Hold this mental trauma, idiot. My second gripe is the name. It is the Fey Warlock. Despite what the new designers of D&D would lead you to believe, the Fey encompasses a lot more than just casting Misty Step. So why is this subclass almost entirely about casting a single second level spell? The 5.0 version of the subclass wasn't mechanically good, but it at least tried to encompass a variety of Fey ideas, like charming and frightening, or making an illusionary misty forest in the minds of your enemies. While I like the 5.5 version of the subclass, it's not what I think of when I think Fey Warlock. And many D&D fans are in the same boat as me, so when we read it, we thought it was good, but felt a little bit let down when it's not what we expected. It is the Misty Step subclass. If it didn't have the same exact name as the 5.0 version, I think a lot less people would feel disappointed. What I think WotC should have done to mitigate this disappointment is to not call this subclass the Fey Patron Warlock, and instead call it something like the Misty Fey Patron Warlock. It's the best of both worlds that way. It keeps its Fey theming while still being specific enough to refer to its mechanics and also leaving room for a more typical Warlock in the future. Everybody wins. I mean, we can't really make that change at this point, but that's what I'm gonna call it at least. So yeah, Fey Warlock is a fun subclass. Give it a shot. Now, if you'll excuse me, I said something nice about WotC and need to make amends by magically hexing all of WotC leadership to suffer the pains of child labor in their times of need. And if that doesn't work, I don't know, I'll start dressing in drag until something happens. Before I go off on my quest to hex billionaires, consider hitting the like button and leave a comment. I respond to those. Also consider subscribing. And if you want to support me even further, consider joining my Patreon. There, I have a bunch of playtest material for stuff I make for these videos. This month, I'm probably gonna have a Fey subclass where the patrons decide what class gets the Fey subclass, so if you're interested in that, check it out. Shoutouts to the patrons: Beefmaster, Nolan46, Panko6, Hayden Tisthammer, Manifestring, Seductive Squidward, Black-Blooded Beast, Captain Halcyonics, Neferwraith, Trevin Zarmes, Terius, Timberwolf J, The Gaming Rogue, Raiden Rising, Fenikusu1, Christopher Cook, Zachaloo, Xander3, Fusro Dog, Poggers Extreme, James Spears, Seth Nyaw, Mr. Nobody 13, Alex Score, Alex Dorf, Ed Boy, Pat Hughes, Davester, Iskander 711, Anymoose, Dice Monkey, Mullock, Spartus Maximus 1, Cubico, Kingstorm, Polymolio 1, Ninja, Inkblot, Brecken Ven, Direwolf, Vulcan, Fellfire Lynx, Tyler Tunes, and Samurai Dan. Thank you all so much, you are all the best.